Hi everyone, I'm Ryan Lund, and welcome to another episode of the Supper Club Social, where we review restaurants, movies, and TV shows, and talk about cocktails, home bars, and pop culture. On the other side of the table, we have former beard model, current griddle master, proud veteran, and public transportation extraordinaire, Roy Smith.
Hey, how's it going?
It is going pretty dang good, Roy. I am psyched to be here for episode 4 of the Supper Club Social.
Yeah, it should be a good one.
Well, we're covering Ozark, Boba, game night.
Yes.
We've got a lot on the list today. But first, let's get started with some, any funny memes you've seen online lately?
Just the ones from Boba Fett that seem to be creating, which may be the best thing out of that series so far, is the memes.
Yeah, for sure.
I've sent them all to you. They've all been pretty good.
I really like the one where it's like, in this episode of Boba Fett, there's a cameo, and it's Boba Fett.
Yeah. And then there's the one when Nando's, he's got that big pipe.
Yeah.
That's the same pipe from when they were stuck in the big trash compactor in the originals.
It's one of those where the person's just like looking at it like, oh.
Yeah. It's got Leo DiCaprio like in the chair.
Yeah. Did you recognize it in the episode?
I didn't recognize it in the episode. Wow. Until I saw the meme, I'm like, oh yeah.
I thought I knew you.
That does make sense.
I've recognized a lot of stuff in that. It's almost kind of like, all right, we get it. Like, do we have to just...
You're all one universe.
Cycling it through.
You're intertwined in a separate storyline.
What was the other one I sent you? The
Sean
Paul clapping lady?
Yeah.
Just throwing it up there, hips going. I wish I was that coordinated, but I don't think I would have been hired if I'd responded to the ad.
But just think that there probably was somebody in a sound booth just there to clap.
Right.
That's all their job was just to clap for that song for, maybe a minute?
A minute, yeah. And that, if that, then they just sample it and hit the same thing.
I bet you got paid good money for that.
I just wonder how if she was the first person they landed on her, or if there was somebody in there kind of just doing...
Yeah.
Like, not giving it 110%.
That whole audition line of clappers.
Yeah, right. I like this lady. She really gets her hips involved.
Yeah. Well, her clap was a little high-pitched for me, I want something a little bit lower.
Well, yeah, you got to get more palm involved.
Yeah.
You can't
Too much golf clap.
Yeah. Well, what do you say? We move on to the first segment of this podcast.
Let's get with it.
All right, people, grab your seat. It's time for supper.
It's supper club time. Eyed Guys Brewing.
That's right.
Checked that place out yesterday. It was nice to be in a brewery again. I haven't been for a really long time.
I think the last one I remember going to might have been that one we didn't like the aesthetics.
Well,
I don't know if I should say it, because a lot of people do like it.
We can say it's just a little critique.
Like Lumberbeard.
It sounds all burly, and then when we went there, I was close to when they first opened, and it was like...
Very sterile, very white.
Like a hospital room.
Yeah, it should have been like live edge, like natural wood, but no.
Yeah.
Very modern.
Some dirt, maybe.
Just a smudge.
But, yeah, I mean, the beers are fine. And I've been there since. I went to a birthday party there for a kid, actually. And they have, like, cornhole and all that kinds of stuff in there. It's a pretty big space.
Yeah, but Eyed Guys is where we went yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. It was small. Average for a brewery, but for someone in Spokane, I guess it would be on the smaller side.
Yeah, it seems a little small.
Their beer is pretty good. I had 2 different IPAs they had there. They were both pretty tasty.
Yeah, you really went out on a limb,
I did. I really spread my wings.
For the IPA. I had, I think, just one of the IPAs.
You had that stout or whatever it was?
Oh, that coffee cake. Stout, yeah. I wanted the Scotch Nitro, but they just blew it. That happens to me every time, like, I swear. Every time I want a beer, it's like, oh, no, we just blew it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? It's like 11 in the morning here. You mean you blew it last night? Just be honest with me.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure we ordered everything they had on their menu.
Yeah, we did.
While we were there.
Yeah, my side of the table, we got the charcuterie board.
You wanted to say
it's hard not to. We saw this other meme, is they call it a charcuterie board, and once you see that you can't start saying it normal. The charcuterie board and the hummus plate, and Amy got the burrito, the breakfast burrito. All that comes out on these slate plates.
Yeah,
it was really good.
And you guys also ordered the pretzel.
Yeah, we got
As did we.
the pretzel. You know, you got to keep these small businesses in business, Roy.
And then our side of the table, we ordered the pretzel, and then I believe Andrea ordered the breakfast burrito, straight up, no ads. And then I ordered the Tex-Mex burrito, minus sour cream.
That's right.
But yeah, it was all really good, and they're handmade because they came out one at a time.
Yeah.
The owner that was there, was doing the bartending and the cooking.
Double duty.
But it was really good. Pretty good service.
Came out pretty quick, too. It's not like we were waiting and the kids were going crazy. They were
maybe a half a beer before it came out.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what they do when they get busier. Hopefully those two don't work themselves to death.
Yeah.
And when Amy ordered, she substituted something out of the burrito, and this always drives me nuts about restaurants. She's like, can I get this instead of whatever? Or she just got it without it. And then the person actually said, well, do you want to sub this in just so it's like the same amount of money or whatever? I just thought that was really cool of them. There's some places that
won't let you substitute something that costs the same price as what you're trying to get rid of.
I don't need to mention that place. But I get it, whatever, you know. So beer was good. Are you a fan of drinking out of like weird cups, beakers, and fancy glasses and stuff?
No, and that's typically why I stick with IPAs. They typically always come in some form of a pint glass.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I don't like the weird flutes and like wine type glasses, goblets or whatever.
Yeah, just give
it. And then they had that beaker type glass for your stout.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. Like, I don't care. Just put it in a pint glass, you know, like.
It looks good on Instagram. But
yeah.
Let's just get a normal, super clean glass.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Why? Why does it have to be, like, is it really doing anything to it, you know? Like, it just distinguishes it more.
I was thinking, like, how do you stack these things? Like, you've got, like, just tons of floor space back there, because they're not very stackable.
No. But yeah, I mean, even the pint glass was different, but, I mean, at least it was pretty much a cylinder.
Yeah.
No weird things going on.
I didn't know whether to drink out of the corner thingy or, like...
Are you looking for the little pour spout?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, overall it was great. They have, like, a real natural one with earth kind of vibe going on there. They got some live plants growing on like the air ducts and in the window. And then they have, I think it's like faux vines on the the bar front. Yeah. And natural wood aesthetics. And then they have like all the plumbing's exposed and stuff. Like not in a gross way, like in an artsy way.
I know, there's the crap pipe. I want to sit under that.
But no, it was really cool. Service was great. The owners were the ones working, so they were both real nice. Yeah. I'm sure it's good service. I mean, I don't know if I'd go there for a dinner date because it's like handheld type food, but definitely like a brunch or a lunch or like just a late night snack maybe.
After a concert or something, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, really cool.
I hope they get to use some of that parking lot for like outdoor stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they have lights that go all the way across it.
Yeah, and the door we were sitting in front of was a big roll-up door.
Yeah. Oh, so. I think they roll that. Yeah, I've seen pictures where they roll it up and stuff.
So who knows? Maybe when it gets nicer out, they have like a little outdoor seating area. But overall, I'd definitely go back for a pint and a snack.
Yeah, definitely. I don't have any. It was a nice time, and it's cool. In the mornings, they're a coffee shop.
Yeah.
So.
They're really capitalizing.
I really hope they don't work themselves to death.
Yeah.
It seems like
because I think
open 12 hours a day. There must have been somebody back doing dishes. Hopefully.
Yeah. Overall, great place. Go check it out if you're in the Spokane area. It's on Indiana, across from the McDonald's and Monroe there. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty centrally located. So go check them out.
Do your thing. All right, let's move it on, Roy. It's time for the. Time to dive into the segment of the week. Cocktails of the movies.
Yes, what the people want.
And everybody's favorite section. Everyone's like, just skip the intro, skip the restaurant review, give us the cocktails of the movies.
They just want to drink, and I'm all about that, as long as you do it responsibly.
Yeah.
And don't drink and drive.
Of course. Well said, Roy.
Yeah.
Well, we've pre-made our drinks, so they've been sitting here. I've had trouble not taking a sip out of it.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all. It's a winner in my book.
Let's do the quick reveal. I screw this part up every single episode. So we're drinking the Harvey Wallbanger.
Yes, which is actually kind of the thing that started this whole idea, to be honest.
It really is, yeah.
But yeah, anyways, let's get to the ingredients before you mess that part
Sure,
up.
before I go on for 20 minutes about nothing. So you've got 2 ounces of vodka. I did 4 ounces of orange juice. Put it in a shaker. I shook it. Roy says you're not supposed to do that.
Well, not the recipe that I saw.
And then I poured it into it's actually a pint glass, but it's a little thinner for like Collins glass. And then that was already filled with ice, so fills it up. And then you float some Galliano. Is that how you would say it?
Yeah, I think it's Galliano.
Galliano.
It's really just an additive liqueur, pretty much.
Yeah, it's float about a half ounce on the top. And I don't know, so it's a screwdriver with a little something else.
Yeah, I would say it's straight up a screwdriver with a little something on the top.
After I drank the first drink, I was thinking, like, all you really need to do to make a cocktail, if there's any 2-ingredient cocktails out there, if you can throw in a third, then you get to name it.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So
there's a lot of cocktails like that too.
Yeah.
That someone's like, oh, well, I like that drink, but what if we just add like an ounce of this, and then it's going to be called this instead.
Right. Yeah. And it's not like the original thing with the twist anymore. It's a full new drink.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a sip here.
No, it's good. It's garnished with orange slice and maraschino cherries.
Maraschino and Galliano. I could get through.
Or if you're my wife, she likes to call them man sweat cherries. For some urban legend she heard one time about how it's a bunch of sweaty men like stepping on these cherries or something all day.
She's probably spreading that rumor that peanut M&Ms are made out of beetle shells.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Found the source.
Yeah, love her, but she has some fun fact stories.
She's got some ideas, that one.
There might be an Andrea's Corner someday on this podcast where we just say stuff that she said.
That's where we found out Elton John's from Michigan.
Yeah. And yeah. Let's just leave it at that for now so she doesn't kick me out of my room.
Yeah, no kidding. This is fun going on after your wife a little bit.
I know.
I'm in the clear here.
Yeah.
She actually listens too, so you might be in the hot
I know. We'll find out later. This might be the last episode.
Well, let's move ahead here and read you. So the movie. So did we describe the cocktail good?
Yeah, but we didn't talk about the history of it.
Oh yeah, here. Let me read a little bit about the drink here. Everybody loves to be read to, so here you go. The tale of Harvey Wallbanger is a familiar one in the cocktail canon, beginning with a murky origin story and unfounded claims of invention, followed by years of forgotten obscurity. That just kind of sounds like how someone's life could go. Like,
yeah.
Hit it hot for a while.
It's like the start of a murder mystery.
Go away. Yeah. Where was I? After a successful marketing campaign drove the drink into meteoric. There you go. Not mediocrity.
He took the short bus to school.
They're trying to say that it was popular. It once again fell victim to snobbery and fell away. Lately, it's come back. If anyone can be credited with the cocktail's lasting fame, it's commercial artist Bill Young, who illustrated a poster seen in bars all over the world during the 1970s with a cartoon surfer dude declaring, "Harvey Wallbanger is the name, and I can be made." And I can be made. I should have read this before I.
Yeah, you should have proofread it.
Anyway, that's the history of it. Brief history. Not a very. I think it kind of got invented and then stuck around.
No one wanted to take claim to it because it was just a screwdriver with Galliano on top.
Yeah. Everyone was like, well, once they ran out of Galliano, they're like, yes, finally that bottle's empty, and then they quit promoting it.
That is the most expensive part of this drink too. Is the Galliano.
I think that might be my go-to home intruder, like
beater,
getting rid of the bat.
It does have a baseball-esque shape.
I mean, if you bought the big size. If you weren't a wuss and bought the smaller size.
Yeah. I bought the small bottle.
So anybody out there needs Galliano, I have enough for probably
a lifetime.
Next lifetime.
I have enough for a half a lifetime.
Ooh, it is good though. I think it's a little. Either the last time I had a screwdriver I was like 22 and just made it all vodka and a splash of orange.
Probably.
It tastes pretty good.
Yeah. It's not a bad drink. It'd definitely be more along the lines of something you'd want to have like at lunch or breakfast if you're that type of person.
Get your vitamins in.
Yeah. Very healthy drink.
This recipe does say to stir the vodka in the orange juice with the ice and a whole. Okay, so this was the recipe you went with.
Yeah.
I shook it. I think it gives it a nice little kind of Orange Julius creamy look to it.
I don't know about that.
You know, big difference. So that's the drink. This drink is featured in what movie, Roy?
It's featured in the movie Game Night.
Game Night. I love a good game night.
It is.
This movie delivers on all everything a game night can possibly be.
Yeah. If you're a game night person, this would be maybe your dream game night.
Yeah. It
Almost.
even has like the sibling that annoys you.
Yeah, sibling rivalry. Rivalry.
Oh, you can't say a word?
You can't say that one. Rivalry.
What do you try to say? Meteoric.
Anyways.
I know, I'm not done proving how stupid we are. Yeah, so Game Night came out in 2018. You want to run through the cast real quick?
Yeah, sure. So the main cast is Jason Bateman, who plays Max. You have Rachel McAdams, who plays Annie. Kyle Chandler plays Brooks, who is Max's brother. And you
That guy's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he is. And then you have Sharon Horgan, who is Sarah. Lamorin Morris, who is Kevin. Or if you watch New Girl, he played Winston in that show.
Oh yeah, I've always just called him Winston.
Yeah. And then Kylie Barnberry plays Michelle. Jesse Plemons plays Gary, who is also the main character in the Fargo series, and he's married to Kristen Dunst. That's the best way to describe him.
I know that. He's the one with the weird smile, right?
Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters in this movie.
I didn't know that was him. I've heard.
And then Michael C. Hall is the Bulgarian, who's also the guy who plays Dexter.
Right.
And then Danny Houston is Donald Anderson, who's also in a lot of movies, but he's always seems to be the villain. Or like the weird guy you're not too sure if he's good or bad.
Is he like one of the gangster
He's
looking guys?
the guy they stole the egg from.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, so that's your top. I mean, there's tons of. If you look it up on IMDb, it goes on forever. But these are the guys that you see the most in the movie.
It's basically three couples, three couples. They start a game night. I almost just started going off. So were you freaked out that we did? So on another podcast we did Eurovision. They had Rachel McAdams.
Rachel McAdams. Yeah.
She's in this movie. Jason Bateman's in this movie.
Yeah.
Jason Bateman's
in Ozark. Yeah.
And before that, you went back to J.K. Simmons,
Yeah,
right?
I was on a J.K. Simmons binge.
This is all connected, Roy.
Yeah, because Thank You for Smoking, and then I watched La La Land, because it's one of my favorite movies. And then there was another movie I watched, I can't remember what it was, but he was in that also.
Yeah.
And it was unintentional, but I've been on actor and actresses binges.
We've unveiled a massive conspiracy. Yeah. I don't know where it's going or when it started.
There's a lot of people in the same movies together.
Well, how do you want to do this? You want to kind of walk through the scenes? Sure. A mix of scenes and what do you call it?
The funny
quotes that I like.
Yeah. So I'll just start with the opening, all right?
Sure.
It starts with Max's character and Annie's character at a bar trivia night. And they're both captains of different trivia teams. And then the last question of the night, they say it at the same time, so they tie for the win, and then they meet in the middle of the bar, and they fall in love.
Yeah.
And then it kind of fast forwards to them moving in together and stuff, and then they're playing charades or Pictionary, and then he proposes to her at game night. So a big part of their life is this game nights, and they seem to be the ones that want to host it all the time.
Right. They're cutting the stuff together on the end of the counter and really putting on a good show.
So yeah, they are the Luns in this movie in our friendship.
I laughed when
Jason Bateman answers the question before the guy could read the full question, and then the guy goes, "Please wait till the end of the and then he finishes his sentence there too.
Yeah,
it's like you gotta hassle those people, Roy.
That's a great way to open a movie. And then they're sitting in like a doctor's office, waiting for a doctor to come in, and then it turns out it's a fertility clinic.
Oh right, yeah.
And then, oh no, I know it's me. So that's me. My stuff's no good. And the doctor goes, I really don't like your semen.
I don't like your semen.
I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, I wrote that one down. That's a solid line. Is that the scene where she goes into liking the brother or something?
Yeah, and then he's like, oh, do you have any stressors in your life? And he's like, oh, no, not really. I'm a pretty stress-free guy. And then she's like, well, your brother's coming in town. You've been pretty stressed out about that. Because he always tries to one-up you. Yeah. And then the doctor's like, oh, really? Like, what does he look like? And then, is he single by chance?
I'm getting dripped on by this Harvey Wallbanger here.
Yeah, so that's pretty funny. Yeah.
It's one big drawback of rinsing your glasses before you freeze them.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to get some drips.
Yeah, I got a nice little ring going too.
So, sorry. Yeah. Not to interrupt there.
Yeah. I know there's some more lines in that scene at the office, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I did this really funny thing of I wrote down like what happens in the scenes and lines from the scenes, but I didn't write down like what scene it was.
Our note-taking skills are very, very different.
I'm realizing why I wasn't that good of a student.
Yeah.
And also I realized how good I am making stuff up.
So anyways, so they get down at this very unprofessional fertility doctor's office, and they're arrive at their house to get ready for a game night. And they pull up in their driveway, and they're unloading groceries, and then Gary, their creepy next-door neighbor.
He pulls off such a good creepy cop.
He's at his mailbox, and like, oh, hey, Gary. And he's like, oh, just checking my mail, A lot of people come out and check it early, but, then they get it when it's not there yet,
Yeah.
And I just check it now.
I still check it, though.
Yeah.
That looks like a fake dog. Like,
I know, but in the movie, it's moving around later. Maybe in that scene, maybe it didn't want to stay still.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's creepy, and he's like, oh, are you doing a game night? And they're like, oh, no. He's like, oh, it's a lot of Fritos for just 2 people.
That's 3 bags of Frito-Lay scoops.
And he's like, oh, Jason Bateman's character's like, oh, they had a buy 1 get 3. Yeah. And he's like, oh, that doesn't what?
I don't see how that would be very advantageous for the Frito-Lay company.
Yeah. How's that profitable for them? Yeah. It's like, all these big corporate companies, they got it figured out.
I like that. And then Jason Bateman goes, okay, we done?
Yeah.
He just walks away.
I know. Jason Bateman, he's just so good at his, I guess, personality.
His thing, yeah.
It's so good.
I listened to a podcast with him called Smartless with Will Arnett.
I bet that'd be funny.
Oh, and him and Flippin', I can't remember the other guy. He was the guy, Sean Hayes. It's really funny, but it seems like this is how he is.
Yeah.
He's a professional Jason Bateman.
Yeah. But it's good.
Where are we at here? So one of my notes, it says, he calls out the scoops. And then they are in the game night. They're kind of everyone starts sneaking into the house because he told no one to go in through the front door.
Park down the street and sneak in the back.
She's like, it's like Night of the Living Dead in here. Just coming in the windows and stuff.
Yeah, but the blinds are closed.
Yeah,
and then the windows are open.
Windows are unlocked. Come on.
But yeah, it was funny that they all came in like that.
Yeah.
Instead of just going to the back door.
Right.
They're just knocking on the back door and coming in. They both decided to come through 2 separate windows.
Right.
One couple came in one set and the other couple came in the other.
I like the one that the guy that brings the different girlfriend every week.
Yeah.
And
I think that's Kevin.
Kevin?
No, that's not Kevin.
It's your guy you liked, whatever his face was.
No, Gary. Anyways, it doesn't really matter.
No, let's talk about it for another 20 minutes. Yeah, so the
Kyle, I think.
Rachel McAdams goes, oh, hey, yeah, you work at Forever 21. And everyone's like, nope, it's not her. And she keeps thinking it was this other gal.
Yeah.
Funny part, and then I laughed at this little scene. She goes to introduce herself, and the girlfriend puts out her hand kind of like the queen would.
Yeah.
And Rachel McAdams just kind of slaps it, backhanded high five. Oh, that cracked me up.
Jason Bateman's like, oh no, I've seen this. You're supposed to kiss it, right?
Yeah. That's such a typical thing of bringing somebody new to game night.
Just a random.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and then they're waiting on Brooks to show up.
Right.
His brother.
Oh, yeah.
Who he told the same thing, like, park down the street, sneak in. He rolls right up to the cul-de-sac in a muscle car.
Yeah.
And he's revving the engine to get everybody to come look at him.
Yep.
And so Max runs out there. He's like, stop, turn it off. And he's out there, and then all of a sudden you look over at the other house, and Gary's standing
Appears,
in the driveway or doorway.
Just with his straight face.
Yeah.
And he goes, didn't change out of his uniform. That's his weird.
He just wears it all the time. But then he's trying to say, oh, no, it's just, Brooks is just in town, we're just having a little family, just the three of us.
Yeah.
And Brooks is like, oh, no, I see everybody else is standing right over there in the doorway. It's like, oh, no. It's just us, just a family game night. No one else is here.
I think at that point, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd be like, it was a lot of weird events that all came together. Like, just come on over here. Get over here, Gary.
But yeah, he shows up in the movie quite a bit, and it's always pretty funny.
Yeah,
I think when he's just the character he's playing, he's totally pulls off the creeper neighbor that no one really wants to talk to, but you have to every now and then.
I know him from Breaking Bad, and then I don't see him at all. You've pointed him out a few times, but then in Jungle Cruise, the Disney show.
Yeah,
he is a Nazi in it.
Yeah, I forgot that he was in that one, but yeah, he is in that one.
Yeah.
Also. And he was in another movie, but I didn't think it was that good.
So what's next here? They do the game night. We're still only 5 minutes in this movie. Let's keep it moving here. They have that game night. Everything goes fine.
And then Brooks invites them to have game night the following weekend at his mansion that he rented.
Right, yeah, and it's a pretty nice place. So they all kind of reluctantly agree. Some of them just want to see the place, whatever. They end up there. And Brooks said, I'm going to take it up a notch.
Yeah.
So if I passed anything that you thought was funny, let me know. But he basically hires one of the murder mystery crews to come in and perform a whole thing, which I think would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that would be a fun. You'd have to have babysitters for sure.
Yeah, you'd have to have a couple cocktails in, suspend belief, and just have fun.
Yeah,
but I would do it.
I think we should pull it off. Our group could pull it off. I think.
Yeah.
And
some of our group would just be like, "Wow, this is really happening."
It might be the wild card.
Okay, so they're chatting around. The door, somebody comes up. Everybody thinks it's the murder mystery crew. It's not. It's an actual murder happening or abduction.
Yeah. Well, first you skipped the part where Agent Henderson comes in.
Oh yeah, he's in. Yeah, so the normal guy does show up.
Yeah, the normal actor comes up dressed as an FBI agent, and he's wearing sunglasses. And one of the game night members, I guess, Ryan's his name, I believe. He's like, "Oh, sunglasses at night. He's serious." And he does this whole spiel that he has to do. He's like, "Oh, but for legal reasons, anyone have peanut allergies or food allergies I got to worry about before we get going."
So then the other guys bust in.
Yeah.
They tune him up pretty good.
Yeah.
Knock him out. Big fight.
Brooks they're breaking photos and tables, except for the guy's table.
Not tables, yeah.
But yeah, and everybody else is just sitting on the table oh yeah, this is great.
Right.
Having chips and salsa, passing it around.
That's where we get introduced to the gun. So a gun falls out of Brooks' pocket. Or, goes for it, drops it. Rachel McAdams picks it up. And that's you just need to know that for a little bit later here.
I mean, this is not a movie for pro gun safety or handling at all.
No, definitely not.
And so then the kidnappers take Brooks and if anyone follows us, we'll kill you. Right. And then Jason Bateman's like, oh, okay.
Yep,
drive safe.
Drive safe. He does that. Okay.
Yeah.
So then all the people are like, all right, let's get started on the game and look for the first clue.
Yeah.
The guy with the new girlfriend, they have the idea to look up his credit card history, call the place, and go there. And he calls her, "Oh, you're totally a double threat." I've never even heard somebody be called a double threat.
Was it Brains and Beauty or something?
Brains and Beauty, yeah. You always want to be a triple threat,
Yeah. So they're looking up the history, and then you have Kevin and Michelle go to his laptop or something.
Yeah, to track his phone.
Yeah, to try to find his phone, and then they get locked into that room by one of the other couples.
Right.
And then Max and Annie decide to track his phone through one of their phones
through
his phone.
Through
some device. They're tracking his
Find
phone.
My Friends situation, yeah.
So they hop in their car and they're already following the
Yeah.
van to where they think they're taking him for the end of this game, because the winner of the game gets the muscle car.
Right.
Which I don't remember what it was.
It's like a Stingray.
Yeah.
It's
Corvette or something.
Jason Bateman's. What's his character's name again?
Max.
It's Max's like dream car. So,
which is Brooks's dig at him.
yeah, that's where they start all this sibling rivalry stuff.
Yeah. And they call him a maxi pad, and then he tried to give himself a little self-pleasure when he was a kid with a bungee cord and tried to get down there.
That's a good joke, pays off later too.
But anyways, and so they're all going their separate ways to try to figure out the clues to this murder mystery game that they think they're playing.
Yeah.
And Annie and Max show up to where the signal stops.
Yeah.
Which is across the street from like this dive bar. And they
find his phone in the dumpster.
Yeah. And then they find one of the kidnappers like smoking and going into the bar.
Right. They follow him in there, and they're still thinking they're in a game. Yeah. And this is where we get the big introduction.
Yeah. So this is about 34 minutes into the movie at this point.
They actually say the name of the drink, too.
And so they're trying to interrogate this bartender guy, like, oh, have you seen anybody that looks, kind of like me, but like a sharper jawline, a little more sturdy.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, so someone's sexier than you or something like that, more attractive than you.
Right, yeah.
He's like, no, haven't seen anybody. And then they see the door open up, and Brooks is back there tied up. Yeah. And then he's Jason, okay, let's see if this guy's for real. Let's see how good this guy is at acting.
Yeah.
Let's order some drinks. And so Rachel McAdams, oh, can I have a vodka tonic? Right. And he's like, well done. Like, way to give him a real stumper, Right. And this is when the Harvey Wallbanger comes in.
Yeah.
That's when Max says, oh, well, I'll take a Harvey Wallbanger.
Yeah.
And then it comes out, and he's like,
perfect.
Oh. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is perfect. It's like, oh, have you had one before? No. But it's a real tasty drink.
Right.
Which it is.
It is tasty. It's drinkable.
Yeah.
I mean, there's you wouldn't know there's 2 ounces of vodka in there. Of course, there's a ton of juice.
Yeah.
If you're used to drinking like martinis and Manhattans.
It's definitely, if you don't like alcohol but you want to get drunk, this might be the drink for you.
Yeah, if you're a little short on your vitamin C, go for it.
But anyways, so...
Tasty. But I was satisfied. I was like, actual drink in the movie, actual name of it, drinks it, main character, hit all of my categories for this to qualify to actually be in this book.
Yeah. It was definitely good. And then it cuts away to the other couples at this point, I believe.
Yeah.
And then
the ones that are stuck in the house still.
Yeah, the 2 that are stuck in the house, and they get out. And then Ryan and Sarah decide they're going to go to the murder mystery office to just bribe the owner, like to tell us what the final question is so they can just win. And they get there, lights are off.
Right.
They walk to the back, and there's a chair turn. You just see the top of someone's head.
Yeah.
They turn the chair around. Lady, gunshot wound to the head.
Yeah. Blood on the
dead to the world, yeah. And they scream, and then their screaming wakes her up. And she screams at them. And they're like, oh, God, we thought you were dead. And she's like, oh, no, I just got back from another game. Right. I was the victim. It's like, oh, who would kill a pregnant lady? It's like, well, no, I really am pregnant. But yeah, and so then they try to bribe her with $17.
Right. Oh, yeah.
To get the answer.
He does the classic money slide across the table.
It's like a 5.
Yeah. He's only got $17.
Yeah. And then Sarah ends up paying her the $100 she asked for.
The double threat has it.
Yeah. And so they get their answer. And then Kevin and Michelle get out of their room, and then the agent actor guy was coming to.
Yeah. Who is the guy from Westworld?
Yes, he is.
But, I like the first season of that show, but it didn't go.
There's some new season coming out, but I don't think I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's too much now.
But anyways, and so he wakes up and he's like, oh, don't you guys understand that was not part of the game? Like, that was real.
Yeah. And
then the actors that are supposed to do the kidnapping show up.
Yeah.
And like, oh man, what's going on? Right. Whatever his real name is.
I can't remember.
Like, oh, these guys came in and they knocked me out and they really kidnapped the guy.
They called the main office while Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams are there. They're all on speakerphone. So
no, they're not there. This is when Ryan and Sarah are there.
Oh, I thought. They're the last to find out.
Yeah, and so everyone else knows at this point.
Yeah, that all kind of
Brooks has really been kidnapped, not by the actors, but by real, like, gangster people or whatever, these mob people.
Right.
But then it shoots back to Max and Annie.
Yeah.
And she's got the gun out.
Oh,
and
man.
What was it, a Third Eye Blind song or something she's singing?
Yeah, they're the Gin Blossoms or
Yeah.
something.
And so she's using the pistol for like a microphone, like pointed at her face.
I haven't seen someone so careless with a gun
Oh, I know.
since we watched Tequila Sunrise. The guy's holding it like
Maybe that's where they got it. Maybe
Yeah.
that's where they got that from.
Maybe.
Sunrise.
Probably.
Just kind of whipping it around carelessly.
She drops it. She's putting it in her mouth.
Yeah.
Pointing it at Pete. She's like, it's almost more scary because like when she's like tapping the guy in the head, you
Yeah.
can tell it puts them all off.
Yeah. And so they got them all down on the ground. They're like patting them down for the keys to get to that back room where Brooks is. So they get in there, and Brooks is tied up, and he's trying to tell them like it's not real. I mean, this isn't fake. It's real.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh yeah, so like this gun is so real." And she like shoots it up into the ceiling.
Right.
And then she drops it, and it fires itself, which doesn't really happen.
Right.
And it shoots Jason Bateman in the arm. And then they get out of there.
There's so much blood.
Yeah. And they get Brooks out of there, and then they're in a car chase where Brooks is like, "Oh, we can't call the cops because the Bulgarian has too many moles."
Right.
And Rachel McAdams like, on his face.
She has a lot of funny
Yeah.
lines.
And he's like, "No," in the police department. And then he jumps out to get the chase to end.
Right.
And at this point, everybody now knows that it's a real life or death situation.
Yeah, they're in it for real. And then, I don't know if this is the next part, but they basically go to start trying to heal or
Yeah.
pull the gunshot out.
Yeah.
And one of the funny things I wrote down was like the double gag and barf.
Yeah.
Like, where they keep looking at it. Blah,
Yeah.
and then
He's
it
like,
makes
"Oh."
the other one want to puke.
Just a little cut. And she like cuts all the way down his arm.
Yeah. Oh,
And then they find out that the bullet went all the way through clean,
Yeah,
so they
it's
were
not
just
even
digging
there.
around for nothing.
oh man, that was so funny.
But yeah.
We keep going. I don't know. Let's move up to where they're at Gary's house to try to figure out
Who these people are, because they got to find this egg now that Brooks thinks is the reason that he's being
Right.
kidnapped.
So they go over to Gary's house, the ex-cop, or the current cop, and he's like all psyched to have a game night, so they kind of get in that way, and then Jason Bateman scoots off into the den or whatever to get
Yeah.
on the computer to get the address of the people.
Which I'm sure is totally a police thing, just to have access to it at your own house,
Right.
the whole database.
He's in there, he's dripping blood like, from his bullet hole right onto this white dog, white carpet. Mm-hmm. This dog shakes all this blood all over this.
Well, yeah, he tries to clean it
Yeah.
on the carpet with a bottle of water, so
they
he's
wanna
making
clean
a
it.
big mess anyway.
You just let the dog out the window.
Yeah, and then it shakes and ruins this huge shrine
Yeah.
to Gary's ex-wife.
Oh, that's funny.
And there's just blood everywhere.
And they end up getting it, and then they, where do they go from there?
They go to the Anderson guy's house that has the egg.
Oh, right, that's where they are at that party, and
Yeah.
then they track the egg down. I'm hurrying so we can try to stay around an hour, okay? Just so you, but if you got anything good, don't skip it.
Nope.
So yeah, they're at the party. The guy with the girlfriend happens to like go right by the safe that's open, gets the egg, and he also has this thing of like rich people are just having fight clubs now.
Yeah, that's their game night.
And then they walk in there and they actually are. The guy gets knocked out right in front of him, stealing the thing, and then like he's the center of attention while he's trying to steal it.
Then they play keep away inside the whole house.
Yeah.
And another glass table gets landed on and doesn't break. And then
They break the third wall or whatever.
Yeah.
Winston goes, "Oh, tables are acting weird." Or not Winston. I call him Winston.
Kevin.
Yeah. But that's I like things in movies like that that are just kind of
So
throwaway little funny things.
Yeah, and so then they end up getting this egg that Brooks sold to this other bad guy that was supposed to go to this guy named the Bulgarian. Mm-hmm. And they're supposed to meet the Bulgarian at like midnight at this bridge.
Yeah.
So they show up there, and then there's a whole bunch of dramatic stuff. And
Did he get stabbed in his bullet hole yet? That cracked me up when somebody goes, "Oh, you got me right in my bullet hole." Well, they're such like amateur.
I think that was
people.
in that same. I don't know when that part was, but yeah. Anyways, that happened at one point in the movie.
His wife shows up. Oh, right in your bullet hole.
But yeah, and so then they're on this bridge, and the egg is broken, and they find like this witness protection list inside of it.
Yeah.
And then they're coming clean, and there's about to be a shootout, and Gary shows up in a squad car.
Yeah.
And he does like this crazy like Dukes of Hazzard slide over the head. There's a big shootout between him and the two kidnappers. And Gary gets them both.
Yeah.
But then one of the burglars isn't dead.
Right.
And he shoots Gary. And so he falls down.
Right.
And they all rush to his rescue, and he's like, oh.
He's bleeding.
Yeah. And he's like, oh.
He's in his cop uniform.
Yeah, still.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, just don't ever not invite me to a game night again. And I'm like, oh yeah, we promise.
Sure,
You're
no
going to
problem,
make it,
Gary.
man. You're
Yeah.
fine. And then he's like, say it again. Or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then Gary spits out like this blood capsule out of his mouth, and he's like, oh, I set this whole thing up
Yeah.
to let you guys, prove you guys that I am the man for game night.
Which is that's what you have to do. If
Yeah.
you're being excluded from a game night, like you got to prove that you're
You have
fun.
to take it to extremes. And then,
So yeah, and he does the blood capsule. Did that when you first saw it? I was
Oh.
like, "Where's the vest?"
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
I was on the trailer.
but yeah, so then everyone's like, oh yeah, it was a game. Like,
Yeah.
we all win. Like, game's over. But then because they thought it was real, they screwed with the wrong people during this whole night. And then the Bulgarian shows up.
Right.
And he wants the list
Yeah.
that was in the egg for real. And they're like, oh, okay. Oh, we get it, Gary. Like, that's enough. Like, these guys are actually... But then there's another guy.
Yeah. How many whodunits can we have?
Yeah. And then the Bulgarian shoots Gary in the chest.
Right.
And then he's really down.
He's really dead.
And then the Bulgarian takes Brooks to the airfield.
Gary is Gary the brother? No.
No, Brooks is the brother.
Brooks eats the list. Did
Yeah.
you already say that?
Yeah.
That brother. I mean,
What an idiot.
oh, it reminds me of something my brother would do. You just want to be like, you are impossible.
Yeah.
Like,
So anyways, they get to this airport and the Bulgarian's about to cut the list out of Brooks' stomach.
yeah.
And Jason Bateman, I'm going to get the drop on him on
Right.
this like emergency hatch on the top, and you can hear him walking on top of the plane. And so he drops down, and then there's a whole little fight in there. And then the Bulgarian's about to get maxed, and then Rachel Adams' character drops a fire extinguisher on his head.
Right. Yeah.
And then they tie him up with the bungee cord
In a very familiar
Yes.
configuration from
earlier in the movie.
Max's life. Yeah.
But yeah, and so then that's it, and then it kind of goes to Brooks is now on like house arrest,
Yeah.
and he's dating the fertility doctor.
He's like, yep, this night and for 36 more months.
Yeah, we're gonna have it here.
Right.
But yeah, so that's kind of how it wins, and then they do another game of Pictionary,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
Annie does a bun in the oven Pictionary, and they find out they're pregnant, and so they're happy.
Move.
Yeah.
Solid move there.
And that's pretty much how it ends.
Yeah.
And then I recommend you stay until after the credits to get a
Yeah.
nice little bonus scene, which I thought was pretty funny.
Every movie should have that. Like,
Yeah.
I make the kids watch through the credits every.
Do you ever wonder how annoyed the people that work at movie theaters are? Like when people are just waiting,
Yeah.
movie theater employees know there's not a scene.
They're like,
"All right,
get out of
people,
here.
just wrap it up.
Right. That is true. I never thought of that.
But yeah, no, they're great. They're always fun.
Probably my
I just
favorite.
don't want to spoil it for anybody, but you should definitely, if you watch the movie, which you should,
Yeah.
stay for after the credits if
It's
you're watching
worth
it
it.
at home. Yeah.
My favorite end of the credits like thing ever is in The Hangover when they go through the camera, the disposable camera that they had while they were all roofing up or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, well that's gonna wrap it up here. Are we fully done with? Well, no, I mean fully done with the with your movie recap.
Yeah, I think we got it pretty good there.
Any comments on our cocktail here?
Oh no, I'd recommend it. It's pretty tasty, but it's pretty much a screwdriver.
Yeah.
So if you like screwdrivers, you'd like this. You just have to buy the Galliano for $25 a bottle or $50 a bottle, depending on what size you want to get.
I would recommend when you're making this, make a huge production of it because that Galliano bottle, which I think that liqueur might actually be good.
But
I'm gonna get creative with that. Figure out a way to use it. But yeah, make a big old show of getting that huge bottle out 'cause it's like
It's like the size of
damn
a
near
baseball
3
bat.
feet tall. Cool. Well, let's move on to the next section of this podcast, Roy, which is coming up now.
Is that show uncapped?
We should recap it.
You're right, we should.
Recapping Boba Fett here. Let's hit Boba Fett kind of late. it's a good show. I like it.
It's good now that Boba Fett's not in it.
I mean, I just don't even know what to really make of it.
Yeah.
Are we watching? Is it gonna? Where are they going with this
I
show?
don't know. I think they gave up on Boba Fett because nobody liked it.
It was way too weird.
But yeah, so you have a lot of characters brought back from The Mandalorian in this episode as well. You got Timothy Olyphant's character, Marshall Vance of Palgos. And then Mando's back in this one.
Ahsoka's in it.
Yep.
Luke is in it.
Luke and Grogu are in it. You said Ahsoka was already in it, right?
Who?
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Yeah. That's a... Oh, who's the actor that plays that?
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, there you go.
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario.
Yeah.
Dawson, yeah.
Either way, sorry, we're murdering her name, but we're not professionals.
Good victory, yeah. So yeah, this show, I can't get over Luke either. I mean, have you ever heard of the whole uncanny valley thing of like when AI looks too close to humans, like it makes it even worse?
I think they have a actor that looks similar to him also doing parts of it.
It's weird. Yeah, there's computer enhancement and
so he's pretty much redoing what he did with Yoda.
The credits basically show a digital person and then a stunt person.
Yeah.
So who knows? But
anyways,
whatever. That's not the main part of the show.
He's in it, but Mando flies to where Grogu is.
Yep.
With Luke to give him like this little armor that he had made for him in the previous episode.
The cutest armor I've ever seen. I mean, I didn't think anything could go past the mithril suit that flippin' Frodo has and Bilbo in Lord of the Rings, but this one, it takes it. It's definitely cuter.
It's good. And so he goes there and he's met by R2-D2, and then he brings him to like this giant colony of ant droids that are like building this
robots.
Luke Jedi dojo.
I get it. You don't have to deal with any balance issues for the most part.
Yeah.
They got a nice little pincher there. They seem very specifically built to make a
dojo. Yeah. So anyway, so they have this place that Luke is having these people build for his like Jedi training dojo area.
Jedi temple or whatever.
Yeah. And then Ahsoka shows up like out of the woods, and then her and Mando have a conversation, and he says, well, I'm just here to see the kid, and like give him this gift. And she's like, well, you really can't see him because that'll set him back in his training and all this other Jedi mythology stuff. And
it's funny, I saw a meme about this, like, Luke says you can't have any attachments, and then it goes back to like Return of the Jedi at the end of it. It shows him with every person they're all laughing and totally friends, Yeah,
but so they walk through the woods to where they can see Grogu and Luke like training. And he's like, okay, I get it. Like, I'll go my way, but just make sure he gets this gift.
Yeah.
So he gives it to her, and then there's a whole montage of Luke and Grogu like training and
with the laser ball thing.
Yeah, the laser ball, and like he's using the Force to let Grogu keep up with them on their walk. And
I wish I could do that to kids because there's nothing worse. Actually, I just walk slow now, but sometimes when you got to move, it'd be nice to give them a little Force slap in the butt.
And then that's like half of the show.
Yeah, that's basically half of it, and it's a cool part. I mean, it's cool to see Grogu and that whole thing. Did you see? So I've read that there's a flashback of the Order 66 of where Grogu is like remembering that he was getting trained by somebody. And I must have missed that.
Come in there and they kill everybody but him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I missed that part, but I read about it, and I guess it's interesting. He just blocked it out of his mind probably from
it's a real thing.
All of his friends being murdered. I get it.
It's a real phenomenon. You can block a lot of bad things out of your head if you really want to. But I wouldn't recommend it. In the long run.
Deal with your issues.
Yeah. But anyways, so then Mando leaves that planet, and he goes to Boba Fett, and so I'm like, here's where this episode goes downhill.
Totally.
But they're at like this meeting, and Boba Fett doesn't even talk. He just like looks left and right the whole time with his helmet off.
Right. All the time.
What a joke.
This is such a clown.
I know. But anyways, and then he needs to build up a force of people to take on this army of people that are coming after him to take over his territory.
Right.
And so then the Mandalorian gets in his little ship and flies to Plagos to see Marshall Vance, talk him into setting up a garrison.
And he's from Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Did he give up his armor?
He had Boba Fett's armor. Oh, and then Mandalorian helped him kill that animal that was threatening the
then he
village,
gave up
and then
the
he gave it
armor.
up. Yeah.
Okay, that's right. I couldn't quite remember how that went
Yeah.
because it's a different show.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to remember it.
But anyways, and so then he goes like, okay, I'll have a meeting and talk about it, but no guarantees.
Yeah.
And then off in the distance, a stranger comes walking
Right.
through the desert once Mando leaves. And it's, I don't know, he's from the Bad Batch, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. He's a blue guy with a Bane situation going on. He's got breathing tubes and stuff.
Yeah. Pretty scary looking fella. Kind of traditional alien, red eyes,
Yeah.
cool hat.
Triangular face.
Yeah.
Anyways, so they have a little duel in the streets because the dumb deputy that
Oh, man.
Marshall Vance has hired.
Jeez.
And he gets shot.
Infuriating.
He's dead. No one goes to his aid.
He gets some extra blasts. Too.
Yeah,
Like,
Marshall Vance gets shot.
I felt the satisfaction of that.
Yeah, everybody goes to Marshall Vance. No one cares about the deputy. He's just left for dead. But the blue guy pretty much says, don't help Boba Fett or else you'll all die.
Right.
And then they have a little duel, and then that's all you know. He might be alive, he may be dead. We don't know.
guess
Maybe
not.
next episode.
I hope he's alive. He's
Me too.
good in that show.
And then you go to the last part of the show, and it's Luke and Grogu sitting down in the dojo.
Yep.
And Luke gives a whole speech, and he's like, well, you have to choose now. You have a gift from Mandalorian,
Yeah.
and you can either pick this gift and go do that whole thing,
Right.
life journey, or you take Yoda's lightsaber and you're a Jedi, and you have to denounce Mando, pretty much.
It's tough.
And that's the end of the show.
What were you pulling for? Oh, he doesn't pick?
No, it doesn't pick.
Oh, I guess I just assumed he picks the lightsaber.
No, that's where it ends.
What
I mean,
would
I
you-
kind of hope...
What do you
I
think
don't
he
know.
picks?
He should
He
pick...
has to pick the lightsaber.
I hope he picks the armor.
We'll still get. Then Luke won't be on the show. They've already spent. This is where they spent all their money
Yeah.
on this weird clone guy.
But anyways, yeah. So that's the episode in a nutshell. It was better
Yeah.
than the other 3 before this one.
Let's move on to
Ozark.
Ozark.
Season 4, Episode 2.
Episode 2, Roy. As you know, I backstabbed you and watched a couple episodes ahead.
You did.
Which did not work out because then I couldn't remember what happened in what episode. So I rewatched this episode and I'd say I took some better notes. Still not really sure about my note philosophy, but I kind of went through the scenes and it's still just a good show. It's on the tracks.
Yeah. A lot of moving and shaking this episode.
Yeah, definitely.
And some weird things.
The one part that gets me is like when you haven't seen the last season for a while, and then the new season tries to tap into like the emotion of somebody dying, like with Ben, and we're supposed to feel sad and stuff. It's
Yeah.
like, can we skip sad and go to anger? Like we all know it's going to get there, because you're just not in that.
What kind of
That
anger now?
headspace. Yeah, it does
With
go
it.
through it, but
Yeah, so anyways, it opens up with Ruth in like a flea market,
Yeah.
looking at cookie jars.
right.
She looks at a bunny one, then she sees a goat one, picks the goat cookie jar, not for cookies,
No,
for Ben's ashes.
no, don't be getting into that cookie jar.
Yeah, so don't go to Ruth's house looking for cookies in the goat cookie jar. You'll get out a handful of Ben.
Maybe a bone. You never know.
Yeah, and so
Maybe
now
somebody
she's
else's bone.
so now she's talking to this goat cookie jar
Yeah.
when she's on her alone time.
I'm glad they're not going straight grief for Ruth. 'Cause
Yeah.
Did I call her Ruth?
Yeah, Ruth Angelo
For Ruth. She's my favorite
Ruth, yeah.
character. I would just hate if she, like,
dies.
you know,
I don't know. She's
lost
on
her mess.
on the dark track of possible addiction.
It's true. It's true. Those come up. You gotta say no to that first time.
Yeah.
So she gets the urn, kind of goes over that, and then Marty and Maya end up meeting
Yep.
pretty soon after that.
Yeah. To talk more about Omar becoming an informant.
Right, because that's in the first episode.
Yeah.
Basically, he says he wants to, and he's trying to convince her to do it.
Yeah.
Right. This is also kind of nuts to me. Like, the FBI person,
Yeah.
like, why would you do it? No protection.
Yeah.
Like,
Nothing in it for her,
The-
really, at this point.
you might take him down, but you also might get your whole family
Yeah.
murdered.
You might just get murdered out of a cruel prank that he's pulling on her and he doesn't know yet.
It's probably easier if you don't have like 100 kids like we do, but
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so there's this whole thing with Maya and Marty and Omar going on. And she kind of agrees to it. And she's going to stay at their house for some reason during this whole little situation.
that she can get picked up from
Oh, their
by
house,
Omar
yeah.
at the house and not have to reveal where she lives.
Yeah.
Like that's she's still gonna beat him.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
He's gonna kill you.
A couple holes in this episode.
Yeah, but I mean that's just more. It's not really a hole in
keep
the
the story
episode.
moving. Yeah. But then Wendy finds out Ben's ashes are missing from the little buffet they have, and she kind of freaks out.
Yeah, Wendy's still in full hysterical mode at this point.
And then Jonah says, well, I gave him to Ruth because she loved him more than you, pretty much.
And Jonah's going full shitty teenager.
Yeah, he's a complete douche in this season so far.
Yeah, I think they're kind of trying to set him up for his own show. But.
Yeah. But anyways, and so then Wendy drives to Ruth's, and then Ruth comes out with a shotgun and pretty much says, go F yourself, like, they're mine. I loved him, you killed him.
Yeah.
And then she's worried because now she knows that Ruth knows that she killed him.
Right.
Because no one was supposed to know.
You never come out on the porch with a shotgun, because everyone's like, you really going to murder me?
Well,
You go out with a bat or a
good for
Galliano
theatrics.
bottle.
Good for theatrics.
You can beat the hell out of their legs.
Would you not come out with a gun with Wendy coming at your house alone? When she's already knocked off like half the characters in this
The person
show.
that she murdered is
she
in a
killed her own
cookie jar
brother.
in your kitchen.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense, but I'm just saying, like, I'd go with a bat or a
Yeah.
Galliano bottle.
So that's not going very good between those two. It's really putting a big wedge in their frayed relationship that they're going through.
In the whole first season, Marty is basically trying to hold the family together, and now this season she's kind of.
I think they've given up on holding the family together.
Yeah.
Because now their daughter, who was trying to fuck it up, is part of the business,
Right.
and now their son is trying to fuck it
Their
up.
best worker.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Anyways,
where are we at here? So shotgun.
Yep.
Basically, leave Jonah alone. Or no, give me Ben back.
Yeah.
Give me Ben back. Yeah. And she won't do it, which I think is
That seems logical.
yeah. I'm
fine with that.
Stand on there. Yeah,
I was never really a big fan of Ben, anyways, but
no.
he was more of a filler.
I do like those just crazy people that are just you're on the ride and then hopefully they leave out of your life because they will just destroy your life.
Yeah.
From there we pop back down to Mexico and Navarro's in confession.
Yeah, I believe so. Or it might be where Darlene tries to get the new sheriff.
Okay.
Either way, just go.
Yeah, so either one. I mean, the confession, they always have the confession scene.
It was pretty basic.
Yeah.
No big secrets. He kicks his kid's dog and
Yeah.
yells at his son.
And is still murdered like hundreds of thousands of people. Whatever. I'm not going to go into why that is an issue with some religions.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got the confession, and we have Javi. Boy, Javi, like...
He's going to screw this whole thing up. I think he's the reason that this series is going to be ending.
Yeah, well, I was wondering, like, with Marty's being so smart, he can't just turn Javi against Navarro, have them all kill each other, and walk away from it?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I'd do. The guy's nuts.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
He's not playing it very smart.
So he killed the sheriff episode 1. He goes back, Navarro tells him basically clean up his mess.
Yeah. After he embarrasses him in front of all the heads of the family or whatever.
Plants one of those seeds that you know is going to come back. And then Darlene goes to meet the new sheriff.
Yeah,
and
to try to
put
grab
her,
him.
Put her hooks in him.
Her,
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that new sheriff.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's not playing any games. She's like, no, I know who you are, Darlene.
Yeah.
Like, you can go
Sheriff's
after yourself. Why don't you wait till the election and dig your claws into that guy?
Yeah, she's not taking any shit. I like that. Because
so-
you need some of that in the show.
Yeah.
Everyone is just nuts.
Well, that's really the only reason why anyone worked for Darlene is because they knew that the sheriff would protect him if they got caught.
Yeah.
Now she's lost that, and so now even Frank Sr., at the head of the KC mob, who does her distribution and protection, is like, yeah, nope, no sheriff, nothing from me.
Right, which is he's the smartest guy in the whole show.
Well, yeah, and he's already dealt with being screwed over by the cartel when they killed all of his delivery guys.
Why
last
is his
season.
son like all about it? Like
Just because
for
his
money?
son wants money. Gambling problem, drug problem,
Yeah.
fancy car problem.
No dick problem.
Yeah. A list of things.
So then we got the sheriff meeting. We go to Wendy meeting the political fixer guy.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
I'm not sure what she's going with this angle. She's trying to like rig elections or get into politics or a little bit of both.
Yeah, they're kind of trying to set up their end game.
Yeah.
For after
To
Navarro.
get out of it. Yeah.
But in such a huge way, like they're
I know.
making it so complicated.
I feel like they're taking the most like in the spotlight moves to get out of
like
not being in the spotlight.
trying to go be the Clintons or something, or the Kennedys.
Or any political family.
That political fixer guy, he just knows everything. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I had somebody like that you just tap and you're like, okay, how do I get this done? And then he's like, well, let me just tell you, it's going to take this, that, and that, and don't worry, I've made bombs with less. You know? Like, he's got it all figured out.
Yeah. So she's trying to go that route. And then Darlene and Ruth are starting to feel the pressure because nobody wants to work with them. With their business falling apart, they're getting desperate. And Ruth decides to tap into some old casino clients, like some, was he a chef or something, some famous chef.
He like runs a restaurant.
Yeah. So she goes to Chicago, meets this guy, and he's like, well, I'm not a drug dealer. It's like, well, no, we just need you to be like a brand ambassador of their heroin.
The influencer.
Yeah. And so he's like, okay, well, I'm not going to do it unless you try it. And she's like, well, I don't do it. He's like, well, I'm not going to do this then.
Right, yeah.
And so she gets into the heroin.
Let's do the heroin now.
We'll see how this goes. And then he invites him to the farm. And then Darlene's pretty much seeing her farm disappear in front of her eyes. And
she's not liking it.
Freaks out and pretty much says Wyatt and Ruth to go F themselves, and that guy needs to get off the property, and she's not doing any fancy, smancy farming crap.
Yeah.
Like, it's heroin or nothing.
They're talking about edible flowers and soy and stuff, and she's just like, get the hell off my property.
Yeah, so I think she might be going on a killing spree here pretty soon.
I hope so.
The way things are going, she's going to take Wyatt or Ruth out one way or the other.
Wyatt and hers relationship. It's
So
got to be
weird.
one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. So we go from that basically to Jonah, right? He's kind of showing how he knows to do all the laundering and all the washing.
He gets delivery to the house.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. He gets all his new like computers and stuff.
And Wendy and Marty are like, what is all this stuff? She's like, oh, I'm laundering for Darlene and Ruth.
Right.
And
He's
like,
just not holding anything back now.
And Wendy's like freaking out like she should be. And then Marty's a little bit proud.
He's like,
and impressed with his, 14. Already laundering money. Look at this.
That was with me not even trying to teach him.
Yeah. And so he's kind of proud but upset. And then they tell their daughter, don't tell him anything about business anymore.
Yeah. That gets... Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see how they think they're holding it together. Like, you can tell, like...
It's slowly falling apart everywhere around them.
From the inside out.
Yeah.
And I guess Javi, but everything else is kind of going right, but their inner core is, like, gonna totally screw them.
I think they all have different ideas how it's going to go, and it's fighting against all of them.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, then this PI guy shows back up.
Oh, man.
At the house, and Maya's there. Yeah, so she goes out there, gun pulled with her ID out, and he's like, oh, I'm just a PI trying to figure this out. And then Marty talks to him, and he pretty much says, well, now I'm suspecting you as the reason why Helen disappeared and why your brother-in-law has disappeared now.
Right.
So...
I mean, wow, you're a really good PI.
Yeah.
It's like completely obvious.
Yeah, so Marty pretty much says, fuck off and get off my property and go find something else to do.
Yeah, and so then we move to, the next day, right? And Marty's getting off of work, trying to go in the boat. Who's in the flipping boat?
Good old Javi.
Good old Javi. Now, did you notice how tight the turn radius is on this boat?
You got the money. You get the best turn radius around.
I mean, that must have been a one-and-done shot. Because he backs up like a foot, just enough to get away from the dock a bit. He goes like under the dock almost.
Yeah, well, that's his car, pretty much, to work. So, I mean, once you figure out how your car turns and everything, like in your truck,
I guess so, yeah.
You can have to whip it into a parking spot and get out of certain areas.
That's true.
So he does it every day, so he's become a professional boat driver.
Point taken.
Yeah, and so then...
It's impressive nonetheless, though.
They go back to freaking... What's her face's house? Helen's house to go clean it up.
Yeah.
And then guess who shows up? After Marty says, 80% of people that return to the scene of the crime get caught.
Yeah.
And then the sheriff shows up.
Right.
And so Javi's about ready to kill her, and Marty's like, no, let's not do this route.
Yeah.
And so they clean, and then...
Javi's like, I want all the walls done, the floor.
Everything.
And there's like, they can't sit down or anything. You can tell, like, okay, yeah, sure, that's going to take 15 hours with this rag and a spray bottle.
Yeah, so the sheriff's a little suspicious, I think, at this point.
Yeah, she sees the spray bottle and is like, oh, just...
But she's kind of like, I don't think she wants to get into it, because she's just there temporarily. It's not really her problem. She just doesn't want anything else to happen on her watch. But
and she knows Marty's smart.
Yeah.
Smarter enough to not say anything.
Yeah, she's just the jurisdiction next door, supposedly. But anyways, and so then Marty tells Maya that Javi's been snooping around. And now Maya's getting a little worried for her safety and her son's safety, and so she's like, "Oh, I'm not meeting this guy. Like, it's not worth it to me. Like, I'm getting out."
Yeah.
And so like, tell Omar, and Omar's like, "No, you have 10 minutes to be here, or it's not gonna happen, and you're all pretty much effed."
Yeah.
And so then Wendy goes in there and
She puts
goes
on her
crazy.
mom jeans and goes, "You are going to this meeting."
Yeah, like it's your family on the line now. Like,
which is so true. She probably saved her life there.
Yeah. And so then Omar's little hitman guy shows up in the Escalade.
Yeah.
And then they're all about ready to go, and he's like, "Nope, just Maya.
Just you.
That's all I want."
Yeah.
And that's the end of the episode. So we'll see what happens next week, but
I still think she's just crazy for going that route.
yeah. I mean,
But
she
it's
was
all on
cash
brand.
free. She had a promotion when she came back off maternity leave and everything, but oh well. We'll see where this goes. Hopefully it works out for her. I like her.
Yeah, I think it will.
But yeah, that's the end of both those shows as far as I know, unless you have anything else.
That's about all I got. I was just going to say I've almost polished off this Harvey Wallbanger.
Yeah.
I got to go get a fork or something to get these cherries out of here.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think that's about it.
That's about it. Everybody have a good week.
That's all we have for you guys today. Make sure to join our club on Facebook at Supper Club Social. Find this episode, leave your comment and review the drink that we made today if you decide to make it or if you've had it yourself. And we will pick 1 or 2 comments and read them off on our next episode.
You can find our podcast at Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or at our website at www.supperclubsocial.net. See you guys next time.
Have a good one.
Bye. Nice.
I didn't know I had to do my
You gotta
part
do your
again.
part again.